I met a gypsy.
The tourism was decimated, and we saw it firsthand, because
which makes locals desperate
in a way that you couldn't understand unless you put yourself in it, and it was quite scary in its own right. And the only reason that shot happened is because we slipped through the cracks in what was a really volatile and desperate time for the tourism industry that was worth millions, so much for everyone around the world. It's going to the pyramids at some point, to then nobody's coming. We rolled out of that hotel the next morning, and it was only 2 k's down the road, if that. We get to the main gate to go and experience the pyramids. They had that whole area, barbed wire reels off, tanks, sandbags, guns, the whole. Any other day there'd be camel carts and hot dogs. Well, I don't know, whatever. All the not hot dogs, but just
as commercial as it gets.
As commercial as it gets, to just
fully gentrified,
facing back at you. You are not coming in here. They were protective of their national heritage symbol, like just anything. They were ready to protect it at all costs, and we were kind of used to that. We were just spewing. It's like, you're kidding me. We're so close but so far. We're not getting in there. And we sort of just rode up and stopped at the base of this tank. And these guys just came out of nowhere and swarmed us. We had about 10 deep around of tour guides.
Oh,
desperate, like they wanted to be fed. Like
scary desperation.
Yeah, but what they wanted was for us to pay them to be their guide.
Yeah,
we were like the last tourist crumbs for who knows how long. And we rolled up on bikes, and we're like, clearly tourists. And yeah, and I could see Ports was he's like, dude, let's get out of here. This is not cool, because they were smothering us. And I saw this older guy, this older Egyptian from like 5 deep back, he's like, he didn't say anything. He just looked up and nodded, and you just fire the bikes up. The 500s at least are pretty aggressive. It sort of parts the crowd, and you just rumble through, and they get out the way. And he just said, "Come, I will take you in," And he kind of was just like, he had a horse and cart ready to go, so he had some pace, and we just broke away into the back slums of around the heading around to the desert part of behind the pyramids, and just the real dirt sandy streets, and it was just like, okay, this guy is full ghetto. He's the street white. He's the elder street. He took us out the back of the compound, and the pyramids are like razor wire fencing, big compound right out into the desert, so people can't. You got to go through their entries, and you got to pay, and it's protected. And there's gun posts on every point. There's sentries around the whole thing, and we're taken up around the outside of this, and he's going further and further, and we passed this rubbish junkyard and all this stuff, and it was just littered with horses. And you just knew they were the horses that would otherwise be pulling these carts, taking tourists all day long. There's no work. They can't feed them. There's the cemetery. Your horse is done. Your business is done. And it was so obvious what the knock-on effect of what was happening. And
did you get time to like process that? Like, did you feel any emotion around that kind of stuff, or are you just so like, we got to get out of here?
Well, there was so much happening. It was so close to the target, and I had it in my head. That shot isn't just a fluke. There's a bit of visualization and wow, we're here now. It's there. And he's, I don't know, and it's probably for the craft. I was in the magazine game. You're always trying to nail the cover shot.
GTS, get the shot.
You know, like it's just this driving force, and you sort of push the boundaries, and anyway, he takes us right up to the back corner, elevated spot, and it's like, da-da, there's your all 3 pyramids 5 k's away. I just said, dude, we could have ridden here ourselves. I'm not paying you. What have you done? You've just shown us around the back of the fence. I'm not paying you unless we need to get in there. And then the negotiations started, and the only reason I had any kind of, I guess, the only way any of this was going to come about is because they were just simply that desperate for the money. And I didn't want to, it's not so much that I thought I'll use that to my advantage, but at the same time, they were just down our throats. You know, they weren't letting us go without getting something. I said, well, if you get, we'll pay you something, but this is what we expect. Yeah. And the phone calls were being made, and it was heated arguments between them, and then they just did this full security block where they, you know, had to pay a select amount of whoever to bypass the whole process of, they said, the beauty of the SLRs is that at that stage you just look like you're taking photos. There's no real
giveaway that it's a film camera.
that you're capturing footage.
Yeah.
Like, right, no commercial video. No, they sort of stipulated a few rules, and it's one bike only, one rider, no commercial cameras, and you know, like it's not like they're just going to allow some crew to come in and document this thing. We sort of did that, but we were just a dude and a bike and a mate on a camel, and the concern was we had to leave Mark's bike, his 500.
Yeah,
like we've shoved that in this little fruit and veg market across the road. One of the friends of the security guy, I said, Ports, you chain that sucker up. You know, like just this is all unraveling, but we'll just go for it.
And it would have been happening quick.
Yeah, it was, and the miscommunication and the level of understanding of their English, our English, and their you know, and one thing leads to another, and Ports rides in on this camel with this other guy. We've shoved all my camera gear under the blanket of the camel. They wanted me to go through security. So Ports has just gone in on the back of this camel. He was just a slip in. I had to go through the scanners in my moto gear, no helmet. They gave my bike to this kid in thongs. And before I could do really sort of process what he actually meant and where he was going to go, this kid's just ridden off. My 500's gone that way. Boom. You know, you just hear that idle cut off as it goes around a building. That's it. That was like, I thought, I didn't want to think the worst, but
you thought,
like, what's going on here? And then the only sort of unfortunate part of that is that going through the scanners and it was coming together and I was inside the compound, is I get through and I look up and there's the Sphinx right there. It's like you could, you know, in what's going on now with international travel and COVID and all that, who knows when the opportunity to see these, you know, landmarks of the world are going to happen again to that level. Anyway, I get through the scanners, I look up and there's the Sphinx. It's like, wow, this could be epic. It should be epic. It is epic. But all I was like, I looked at the guy. I said, where is my bike? And I was sort of really just about, you know, not breaking down a bit, but just like, this isn't right. What have you done? Sort of thing. And the dude just looked at me and he goes, get in the car. Now's not, because they were scamming it. They were scamming it every bit as much as what
you were.
We were, just to make it happen. And he's basically saying, don't screw this up now. Get in the car.
Just shut up.
Get in the car. And he was angry. And because he was angry, I thought, okay.
Maybe he's got you back a bit.
Yeah. Jumped in this little horse and cart and we ride around the Sphinx. Pull up. And I just never forget the relief of hearing this kid was clipped on. Like he couldn't touch the ground. His legs were dead straight, clipped over the seat. His little sandals were clicking gears coming over he had another entry in. Just like high-fiving his mates on the wall and the barbed wire, like pumped.
Best day of his life.
Yeah, it just delivers the 5. And there it is. I've got my helmet, got the gear. Ports is on the camel. He's got all the camera gear. They said, you've got 45 minutes, go. And we just went straight up and got poised in front of the Great Pyramid and just did a little shoot. Our own little impromptu video shoot for whatever. And you know, it shouldn't have happened. It happened. The rest is history, as they say.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.